Welcome to the Top 5. This is a podcast where a group of friends discuss our top 5 favorites and different topics, including movies, television, video games, and comic books. Hope you enjoy the show. Hey y'all, welcome to Top 5. Top 5. Today's episode is Top 5 Superhero Shows Animated Edition. I'm going to title it that way. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. I'm already not liking it. That was fast.
Is Kim Possible a superhero?
She is.
Is she super?
But she's not very... Well, I mean, Batman is not necessarily super.
That's true.
And if you think Batman's not on this list, you cray-cray. Wow, I used the word cray-cray, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, maybe we should start over.
Hey, Frank, edit that part out. Yeah, right? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go around and we'll name our fives. Then we'll argue each one. Our judge this time will be Joe.
What up, Stutz?
And our contenders, I'm Frank.
I got John, what's up?
Squeak's here.
And Squeak's here.
Squeak's
You could, so yeah, you don't necessarily need to be DC or Marvel to be a superhero show. I'd like to put, one of my honorable mentions is Danny Phantom.
Yeah.
This is a classic.
Walk out this fucking house right now.
Let me guess, you like the American Dragon too.
But it's just, it's definitely not in those two, DC or Marvel. Anything else we want to mention before we get started? This is coming out near Comic-Con, so that's coming up. Pretty excited.
Oh, Disney's got his first panel at Comic-Con.
Disney does?
D23.
MCU's not going, so I'm
Yeah,
a little
that's
upset about that. I wanted to see some Captain Marvel footage.
Well, is that why they're not going, maybe? Are they showing some stuff off at
You think they
D23?
could? Oh, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I just want to see a little bit more Captain Marvel stuff. I'm really looking forward to. I know you're not at all.
Yeah, I know. But, yeah, maybe, actually. I didn't even think about that.
That'll be interesting. So we'll make sure to we'll probably do an episode right after Comic-Con with all the announcements like we did for E3. We also have Level Up coming up that it'll be on Portals 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an older game, so our contest is pretty much not happening. Nobody can. We have one retweet, and it's somebody from my guild. So it's like, bro, I'll just give you Portals.
Yeah.
So I'm sending it to him.
It's a funny game.
It is. Oh, it's great. I enjoyed the heck out of it. But all right, so let's go ahead and do this. I'll start off with naming my fives. These are not in any particular order. Matter of fact, yeah, they're definitely not. So we've got Young Justice, X-Men, the animated series from the 90s. We have The Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Batman, the animated series, and Superman, the animated series. Both those are from the 90s. And yeah, so Jonathan, what do we have for your five?
I got the Justice League animated series from 2001-2004. X-Men, Batman, the animated series, which was actually titled that way. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Superman, from 96 to 2000. And Captain Planet.
Oh, throwing the curveball.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are we talking about the Captain Morgan with that, what's that
Captain
name?
Morgan.
Captain Planet.
Not you alcoholic. Sorry. I like that Captain better.
Yeah.
Well, what's the Captain Planet, with the guy that plays War Machine? What's his name? You know what I'm talking about?
Cheetle?
Yeah.
Don?
Yeah, Don. Have you seen his YouTube videos, or he's Captain Planet on this funny? Watch it. It's pretty funny. It's not crazy funny, but he plays like I don't give a shit, kind of like Captain Planet. It's stupid funny. He's just
okay. Captain Morgan knows.
Yeah, I know. Can we go for that one?
That's a good one. I liked Captain Planet. That's a good choice.
All right, so Justice League, X-Men, Batman, but I got Amazing Spider-Man, and I have Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond's real good. That's my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Any honorable mentions you guys want to throw out there before we get started?
Static Shock, since it's not on our list, was another
That's
one I
in
liked.
mine, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't think it was the same level as a lot of these, is why it's not even in my contenders, but...
That was mentioned. Okay, so the only two that I have that weren't mentioned was Danny Phantom, and it was good. It was really good. I liked it.
I don't know if I would consider that a superhero.
He
series,
is a superhero who has ghost
He's
powers.
like a high school kid that just plays around with ghosts.
So is Spider-Man, but he plays around spiders. And
he plays around with spiders and Iron Man on the side, like...
well, if you're going Homecoming, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And The Tick, which I really like that.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty funny.
I have
Yeah.
for mine, the Tick.
Honorable.
Okay, you got one, yeah.
Yeah.
My other one would be Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
should have put that on there.
Wait, I remember you were
embarrassing as it
obsessed
is.
with Buttercup.
Obsessed.
Really?
Obsessed.
This
Oh
dude
my
used to
God.
be like, you go to his house, he legit had like posters and pictures.
Yeah.
Wait,
when I
Buttercup
was in
tattoo?
elementary school, you know those not like a 3-ring binder, but the little paper binders that you could like put in 3-ring or
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls. Okay,
Really?
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
you
you love
liked Buttercup
Buttercup.
over Bubbles?
easy.
Bubbles is the best one.
Yeah.
Buttercup's a badass. Like
If you like
she's just like
whores.
I'm gonna fight everyone.
All
Grown
right.
up
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls, which one do you want to be in a relationship with? Buttercup. She's gonna
No,
she's gonna
Bubbles.
manhandle
I don't want to
you.
go into this conversation too deep. But Bubbles.
I've thought about this my whole
You know
life.
what? Let's just not talk about it.
Yeah.
That's none of this can be
Make
going
a
good.
separate episode to
Wait, hold on. You guys hear that?
Powerpuff
In a
Girls.
sec. I hear him.
Yeah.
There's some static coming back now.
All right.
Oh, great.
All right. So who should go first?
John's going first.
All right. So,
Wait. Number 1, go.
Okay. My number 1 is the Justice League series that was on Cartoon Network from 2001 to 2004. This Justice League has Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Hawk Girl, and John Johns, the Martian Manhunter. It's my favorite one because it's just the one that was on back when I was, I don't know, the right age, I guess. I watched it a lot. But it was cool. I was interested to see that they had Hawk Girl instead of... who was the other ones normally?
Hawkman?
No.
Or
She took the place of another man. I can't remember. That's normally in
so
Justice
normally,
League.
normally, okay. So like, if you're talking about the core, you're talking about Green Lantern, Flash, oh God, Batman. So you get the Trinity. We got Batman,
Yeah.
Superman, and Wonder Woman. You would possibly add on as part of the core Cyborg if you're talking newer and older, but Martian Manhunter.
How do you know this?
There was one. I don't know. Oh, when I
How
was
do you
reading about it.
remember this?
Anyways,
It's
but
not that.
it was cool that they had Hawk Girl because she it was I don't know, not
I liked her. It was good to bring her to the sun.
yeah, she wasn't a great character. I mean, she was an okay character or whatever, but there's them trying to lean towards women's rights and equality and that kind of stuff. And I think they did a good job at just having her in it without it being overwhelming and whatnot. It's
Pretty cool, yeah.
And John the Martian Manhunter his whole story was phenomenal.
I
Like,
love
one
him.
of my favorite. I wish they would like remake a new, Superman movie or Justice League series that has him in it.
I don't like
Yeah.
that they're basically replacing him with Cyborg. I really don't.
Yeah,
I don't like Cyborg.
That's the biggest waste of time.
Yeah. I think I really like Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
John Johnson. He's awesome. He's
Yeah.
in Supergirl if you really want some more of him.
And they could
It's a
have
real
Idris Elba-
rough place to go to have to find him, but he's
Yeah,
there.
no, I'm good. And they could have Idris Elba play him in it.
Oh, damn, that'd be
He
good.
could play just about it. He could pick.
I
his-
like the actor that plays him in Supergirl, actually.
Yeah.
That portrayal of him is very good. I
Yeah.
like it. But yeah.
All right, that was
All right,
fine.
that's it.
Number
Nice. Taft, number 1.
Number
Ready?
1. The
Go.
Superman the Animated Series from 1996 to 2000.
Nice.
6 Emmys for this thing.
6 Emmys. God,
Yeah.
that's good.
I know, it was. It actually came out after the Batman animated series. I didn't know that. I thought they were concurrent. I think it's because I watched
directly
reruns.
after, right?
What's that?
Yeah, Batman series was from 92 to 95,
Yeah.
and then 96 on was Superman.
The reason, and it's really hard for me to choose a number 1 between those two,
Mhm.
because the other one's my number 2. But the reason I did it ahead of it is because I think they took lesser known super villains and really did a great job of showcasing his rogues gallery. Some of the best episodes that showed off these villains that you don't hear a lot of was Bizarro, the episode of Bizarro where he comes back and he's trying to change Metropolis into Krypton. Lobo, you don't hear about Lobo much, but he's the biker guy that's,
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
The black and white.
Space Biker.
Yeah.
And he
And
looked
he's
the face.
becoming bigger and bigger. I think
Yeah.
in the comics, I'm seeing him more often. Actually, just got a Green Lantern ring. Darkseid, which we've debated before in a DC Villains episode.
I remember that.
Yeah. And then Metallo, which you don't see a lot of him in a lot of things, but I think you actually kind of feel bad for him as a person.
Mhm.
And he's a robot or a cyborg that has his power source is a kryptonite. That's a very short version of him. It was a really good source for Superman material. Well, that got stuck, didn't it?
Oh, yes, it did.
Don't break those timers; they're brand new. It was a really good source for Superman content because at the time you had the Batman movies. There wasn't really Superman movies at the time. You did have a Superman show called Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, which is good, but it's a romantic comedy. So this was kind of your fix for Superman stuff. There was, of course, the comic books. I'm saying outside the comic books. And I think it was these two shows are actually what got me interested in comic books and why I'm a DC fan to this day. Some of the best episodes, it had the Flash for Superman race, which is famous.
Yeah.
That's reoccurring in a lot of different content. It showed off a lot of different versions of Superman. We got the older Superman stuff and the newer Superman stuff. You know, it kind of the Gold and Silver Age and stuff like that. The music was by Shirley Walker, which is the one that did Batman as well. Which that theme song, both those theme songs are so familiar, and they did a really good job. The music is better than what you'd expect out of just an animated show. And they actually, one thing I really liked too, as a side thing in my last little bit, they kind of underpowered Superman a little bit in it. It was actually a struggle for him to throw a truck a little bit. So it kind of made you a little kind of worry about him. Because sometimes when you see Superman, they just kind of like, oh, he could pick up an entire island that's made out of kryptonite. And you're like, okay, well then what can't he do? This one, you actually saw him getting fights with like Lobo, and you're like, oh man, this is going to be a tough one. Or some of Darkseid's kids, you see him fight him and like, a little bit more, So I thought it was really cool. The way they drew him of like this, just like perfect. He was like, he's kind of like Captain America like that. Like he was pure justice. He's awesome. I just really liked him.
No wonder if they wanted to kind of nerf him over time, whatever, they could do something where like now that he's on our planet with the exposure to our sun, after time, like he becomes immune to it, or he starts to wear down the effects that it has on him because he doesn't have.
He adapts or something like
that? Yeah, he's evolving to match our planet instead of having.
He lives forever. That'd be interesting to see because he's basically immortal.
But he aged. Yeah, he gets older.
I don't know. I've heard of fanfic where they have him. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've heard of fanfiction where he like ages beyond humanity. It's interesting.
All right, Squeeze, you ready for number one?
Yeah.
Ready?
Don't need a minute, but yeah.
Set. Go.
All right. Piggyback off of theme songs.
Ooh.
Speaking of
his theme song,
everyone knows the X-Men theme song. I'm going with the X-Men.
Can you hum it to me?
So I got X-Men as number one. I feel like with some of these older animations, this one truly is two ways. The art style is like true to the comics, and then they also try to mimic the comics stories. So it's kind of cool, I guess, if you not keeping up with the comic books or whatever in that time or whatever, you can see it in the cartoon. But man, growing up though, that was a real X-Men. Even nowadays with the movies, that's my X-Men, and that's how I want to see my characters be. Like, even the outfits.
It's pretty accurate to the comics. Yeah.
I have a lot of notes for all three of ours, or at least all three of our number ones, were animated. Similar animation. It was the same animation, but they were all very similar to comic book.
Bright animation. We weren't afraid to go there. Nowadays we have to make them dark and more realistic.
Yeah.
Back then they were cool with everything.
Yeah, and with this X-Men in the comics is that it was trying to boost sales for comics and pop culture, whatever you want to call it. That's just, I don't really have much to say about it. I mean, other than that, really, I don't really need a full minute. But it's just like a true. I mean, I don't know. That's just my X-Men.
Real quick, I want to throw a quick note out there. I think a lot of our listeners right now are mad because none of us have said Batman, the animated series.
Oh, he's on.
Yeah, he's on.
It's on all our list. And if you were to like Google, if you were to Google like best animated superhero show, it's got to be number one. This is our top five. So that's why personally, it's my number two. But personally, I think that Superman just beats it out. But I just want to out of respect to Batman, understand that a lot of people want Batman to be number one.
And I really like that Batman, but that's why Justice League is my number one, because that Batman is in it with Wonder Woman and Superman and all these other characters. So it's the same Batman from that series, more or less. But
I want to add a little something, though, because that X-Men was a little grittier. For, like, the kids that don't watch it, we don't really pay attention as much as whatever. But if you kind of see it again, I feel like it also taught, like, death and sacrifice. I mean, even the animation in the story by itself is still a little grittier than just like a Superman or a Batman or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so for number one, we got Batman, the animated series. Okay, so is Superman? Is it Superman in the Justice League?
Yeah.
So what differentiates?
So and Jonathan's argument on Batman's in there. It's hard because the stories aren't.
Yeah.
And Gotham isn't, and for Superman, Metropolis isn't. So to a degree, I think a lot of what makes the show great are the villains that are coming in, the stakes of 1 versus 1, and Metropolis as a whole. So Metropolis is shown as this like great example of what a city could look like. It's all shining and gleaming, and in comparison to the other one, in comparison to Gotham, they're very polar opposites. And so I think that's kind of a part of it. Superman's a great character, but so is the city. So are the villains. The villains in the Superman show are really good. I think the villains are better in Superman than they are in Justice League. because you really get to see. I can't think of. I know Parasite did a great job with Parasite. All the villains, you actually connect with them a little bit. They did a really good job with Darkseid, showing how his peoples actually do trust him. Let me pick any of my villains that I just... Bizarro, you feel bad for Bizarro. I mean, man, talk about a tragic hero. Or a villain. He's a hero in his own mind. So I think they did a really good job with the villains. And that's probably my biggest reason for it being number one is because in... so many times in Superman's history, the villains for Superman are just overlooked because everybody thinks DC belongs to Batman villains. Mm-hmm. But they did a really good job depicting them. And in Justice League, I don't think that's seen as well.
That's good. I don't know.
How do you differentiate the Justice League show from just the Superman solo show?
So Superman's good, but you only have that one main hero. So that's why I like Justice League, because you can see, you don't get tired of seeing the same... somebody comes in, they're doing something wrong, he's got to stop him, and he's got these same list of powers, and there's kryptonite, and then, it's all the same kind of thing, same person. So that's why I like Justice League, because there's a variety of heroes come together. When one's weak, the other ones are strong, and they support each other.
Are the other characters in Justice League, whoever they are, don't hit me.
Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Hawkgirl, and John Martian Manhunter.
Are there characters in the show as... So, I guess what I'm saying is when I think of, Justice League, obviously, the characters I think of just, Superman, Batman, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Are these other... Are all of them as
important
big and important, and are there side stories, I guess, in the show?
They're not really, they're all in the main story.
Can I intervene real quick?
Yeah.
There's two different Justice Leagues. There's Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. So I just want to throw that out there. The Justice League you're talking about, I think the better one, personally, is about the core 5. And then, or 6 actually, I think, I'm not sure, whatever. And then they ended up making Justice League Unlimited, which was the same group, but they added the full-on DC, library.
Was invited.
And so in that one, you got a lot more stories where it was about 3 random superheroes that maybe asked for Batman's help or something like that. Yeah. But it was kind of it was really random stories throughout the whole thing. So you kind of got, you're not arguing that one, but I just kind of wanted to tell him there is a version of that show that has that too.
Yeah, this one's just about the core 6, the main staples of DC Comics, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know.
Do you have anything else you want to add, man?
Yeah. You're asking about these other characters, but you already know the X-Men characters. I mean, do we have to go too much?
I know the guy with the claws.
Freddy Krueger. You have Magneto. You already have amazing villains.
Yeah. Fantastic Magneto.
Yeah, Magneto, Cyclops. Not Cyclops.
Cable. Yeah, Cyclops.
Cable. I'm thinking Cable though.
Okay.
But it's the character. It's just a grittier type of cartoon. That's what I was going for.
It's funny you said gritty. You keep bringing grittier. I don't picture it as gritty.
There's a lot of death and sacrifice in that show.
It's
true, but when I'm saying grittier, when you say grittier, I'm almost thinking darker.
Yeah.
But I don't see darker in that show at all.
They don't see Wolverine when he cuts somebody. Doesn't show them without an arm and bleeding from their
shoulder.
Well
then it's just
they're okay with death for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
They don't. Yeah, I feel like it's not hidden as much as maybe the Justice League. Not so colorful and bright.
Yeah.
For sure there. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I do in your defense, one thing I do like about X-Men, it is in my list, is that they, like Justice League, have such a wide variety of characters. Yeah. So the story doesn't have to be similar or the same every time. You get to explore a different hero's abilities. Like
Cyclops can be the main character one, and then Wolverine's got this one or whatever. Yeah.
All right, quick question.
I want to ask. Gave you the best Beast version.
Who would win, Justice League or X-Men?
Just throw a dagger on the ground, another room, right?
Yeah, there's one
no
dagger,
powers, just dagger.
One dagger.
So it's an important thing. It's your Justice League and your X-Men. Of those two,
how many members of the X-Men though? Because it's almost unlimited.
Well, you have your core and then your quick core. I guess.
Yeah.
The Justice League would win.
Wait, what? How?
They're more experienced. X-Men is a collaboration of a bunch of kids that are learning how to use their powers, while these Justice League heroes save the planet.
I tell you what, it's a good fight either way.
Yeah.
My Justice League aren't, my X-Men aren't kids. Okay, that's the movie. So I'm bringing you Gambit. Okay, we got Gambit in this one. You don't ever see any good Gambits now.
Oh wow,
okay?
You might have swayed me.
Yeah,
that's the best version of Gambit too.
Probably it's the best version of everyone. Really, Beast, Rogue. I care about this Rogue way more than I care about anything in the movie. Cyclops is more of a leader than it is in the
and
movie.
You lost me. I hate Cyclops.
And Superman wins.
So
if you guys had one more quick minute thing to add on these 3 shows, because I don't know, I'm actually really having a hard time here. I guess this isn't as easy as
I know,
movies
it's so hard.
Yeah.
to sell, but just give me something, maybe an episode or
A hook.
or something. Yeah, something that really makes this you love this as your number one.
All right, so you guys go because I've been going up first.
My favorite episode, at least, or storyline of Justice League is about Martian Manhunter, where he is an alien from a different planet, and his people are being hunted down, and he escapes and makes his way to Earth, where I think he seeks out the Justice League, right, to help him.
That's the pilot.
Is it the first episode?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, such a good episode. Helps they join forces or whatever to stop this alien race that now is going to be coming to Earth and doing the same thing, killing all them. And then so that's kind of like why he joins the Justice League. But it's just another cool character that I didn't see in comic books and stuff like that. Of course, I didn't read a lot of comic books, but because he's able to like phase through walls and has like another whole array of powers that you don't see in any of our other characters. You don't see like in Superman or Batman or other shows. So I like how they bring him into this series. He's my favorite character in the Justice League series. So I like it.
The true Civil War from before the Civil War now. Okay, this is mutants going against mutants, just on a different belief on how they should be ran. So this has always been the Civil War. So I would say better story with Magneto. Then, okay, we're just a couple villains coming down on Earth. We're here to fight each other, blah, blah, blah. This is like, he's Darth Vader, basically.
Who's Darth Vader?
Magneto. Yeah, okay. So we're getting that type of story too. So it's not just like as easy. It's kind of complicated, but we're also getting more in-depth story.
Okay.
With Superman, we're seeing complicated characters that used to be very basic. We're seeing a redefinition of the most famous superhero in the world. We're seeing him as Clark Kent, something that people don't really recognize very often. We're seeing villains that think they're doing the right thing, that are really wrong. And we're seeing how Superman would exist in our world, and an example of how superheroes should be. Something that, it's kind of nice. It's a piece of 90s where when you're watching it, you're like, oh man, this is what it was like when superheroes were just good. Like nowadays, and I like complicated stories, and usually that's my favorite is when the hero or villain is more complicated. But sometimes it's kind of nice just as a palate cleanser to watch a show where it's like, you know what, Superman is just straight up a good guy because it's the good thing to do, it's the right thing to do. He's not sad, he is just doing what's right. And the villains are complicated, but he knows that it's all about protecting the citizens. And there's things where he'll do, like, my favorite storyline is where he saves, there's a people that are a person that is collecting one of each kind of and creating a big zoo. Well, he ends up giving him sanctuary in the Fortress of Solitude. So every time he goes to Fortress of Solitude, there's like one of all different alien species, and it's just something that kind of continues as a good following arc the whole time. I think that might be the Lobo episode. Because he's the one that went to go collect Superman for it.
What you said it won some Emmys or
6 Emmys.
What do you know what they're for?
I know it won some for the music because the music in it is really good. I'm not sure of everything else. It was. I'll try to cut in some music here and there if I can. But it was a really good version of Superman, and they actually took pieces from throughout history. He's like this kind of metropolis with this. They actually took pieces throughout all of Superman's history to make this animated show. So it was a good compilation of all of Superman.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, this is actually really hard. It's a really tough decision.
Yeah, we're at 23 minutes and still at number one.
Jesus.
We literally got these timers so that this wouldn't happen.
Hey, you act like we didn't go over on the other ones. I think I'm going to go for number one. I'm going to go with Superman. Simply because the Emmys, I feel.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot about the shows for what we have there as number one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to go with Superman for number one.
Good choice.
All right, John, you're up for number two. Go.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Justice League for number two. I already talked about it a lot, but it's a wholesome, all-around good show. It's got the same animation, I think, as the Superman and the Batman series from back then.
Yeah.
It's from 2001 to 2004. It's got Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Hawk Girl, and John the Martian Manhunter.
Am I hearing this right? Hot or Hawk?
Hawk.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was like, sign me up for the Justice League.
I was just thinking, like, her superpowers are being hot.
Yeah.
Hey, nowadays that gets you a lot.
She's the diversion in all their attacks.
Oh, God.
But yeah, I haven't. I mean, I haven't watched it in years. It's been a long time.
for
But
sure.
I remember back when it was airing. That was my favorite superhero show.
Gotcha.
That and the X-Men series. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Are you going with
Yeah,
X-Men?
I'm gonna use my Tiana rule and go with X-Men.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, this is both of your guys' last chance to defend
Yeah.
this.
Do you want to say anything, or just leave it where it is?
Leave it where it is. I pretty much said everything I got for it.
Jeff?
Okay,
You're on the board.
I'm
For
taking
2
his 2
minutes.
minutes as well. No. Okay, so this is forever the best voice that you'll ever hear of Batman and Joker. Do you disagree with me?
No, it's just I knew you were going to use this argument.
Yeah.
It's just
You've heard these voices before because they're used in the Arkham games. They're used in any retelling of Batman pretty much up until nowadays. Nowadays, they're starting to slowly change out Joker. The voice actor for Batman is Kevin Conroy. The voice actor for Joker, this small-time actor name is Mark Hamill. Also Luke Skywalker. You might know him as that.
Oh, I just saw the last Jedi. Is he the guy at the end
the old guy.
with the beard?
You heard me so hard.
He's the guy with the blaster, right?
Yeah, he's the guy that does like magic with the electric sword. Oh my
That
God.
spell he used, he conjured it.
Only been
That's pretty
on
cool.
one movie series. Yeah, that's cool.
So and arguably might be the best Joker ever. I'm playing Arkham Asylum again, and it's just I love hearing Mark Hamill do it. It was influenced by the Tim Burton Batmans. Some would say some of the best Batmans.
Yeah.
They took the Art Deco, darker style of Gotham, over stylized cars and everything like that. So you get that. It's one of the best Batmobiles. It changed some comic books villains. So like their version of Mr. Freeze, the comic book actually changed its Mr. Freeze to look more like that Mr. Freeze. There's a few times they did that. Mr. Freeze is the most notable one. So the animated show did such a good job with their villains that it actually changed some of the comic book villains to match it. And even more important than that, here's the nail in the coffin, guys. It invented supervillains that have been then adopted into the DC universe with a big smile on their face. And number one, Harley Quinn was invented by Batman the Animated Series and now is a staple of DC universe. You'll see it in everything. Including the new Suicide Squad. She was easily the best part of Suicide Squad.
Anybody bigger than her?
Is it saying?
Well, she's
much?
probably the most famous. So.
Movie
There was like Clock King. There's a lot of them, but she was like the big one.
She's cool, but she's just kind of like the Joker's hench girl too.
Yeah,
Like,
she's kind of like Hot Girl, right?
But you have to understand, she was invented by this animated show, and now think how big she is. She's in all the comic books.
animated shows create characters all the time, right?
What's that?
Animated shows create characters all the time, don't they?
Yeah, they create characters that don't land. But this one has been now taken in by the comic books and has her own comic books and is in a lot of other comic books. She's a bombshell and everything like that. I think this Batman is, and it was influenced by Tim Burton's Batman, but this, I'll be real fast, sorry. This Batman is now the Batman that everybody looks to, for example. And animated and everything like that. And it influenced, this is the reason we had Superman. This is the reason we have Justice League, the animated you're talking about, Batman Beyond. They all sprouted from this Batman. Right.
Guys, I know you were defending the previous ones, but is there anything else you want to add?
Man, if you're talking about it like villains, like he said, Harley Quinn. Yeah, I mean, I'll give them that. They don't stick as long, but except for Magneto. But we do have the Juggernaut. So yeah,
But I have that pop. That's a good one.
Yes. Oh man, yeah, that one. That's pretty nice.
No, nice.
Yeah. I mean, fuck it.
So if you
I already said my X-Men.
If you like Batman, the Justice League has Batman, the same Batman from the same series, in it, plus 5 other amazing heroes banding together to fight to protect the entire world, not just Gotham City.
Same thing that I said about Superman. It has Batman, just like it has Superman. And those characters are some of the best in all the Justice League. But you're missing the character Gotham. You're missing
city.
You're missing those villains.
But they're fighting to protect more than just one city. They're protecting the whole planet.
That doesn't mean anything. That does not mean anything. The stakes are higher, so what?
Yeah.
You could watch Deadpool, or you could watch, you're very much in the minority on that. But you could watch Deadpool, or you could watch some overbloated X-Men Apocalypse movie, and a lot of people will like the Deadpool better, and it's a smaller budget, smaller movie. They're both in the same world, and it's all about just saving one girl versus saving, the world in X-Men Apocalypse or whatever. But people would prefer Deadpool over X-Men Apocalypse. It's the same exact thing. Just because it's bigger and higher stakes doesn't mean it's nearly as good. In Batman, you're talking about in-depth characters in an in-depth world. I mean, you even fall in love with Commissioner and all his detectives in this one. You know what I'm saying? It shows a lot of it.
All right. I don't have any rebuttal. You've seen these a lot more than me.
I know you'll pick Batman because you're a Batman fan. But
okay, so
the
let
world
the
is-
judge speak here.
Wait,
Right?
who's
the world,
not a Batman
the
fan?
world
Let
is
the judge speak here
freaking.
for a
The
second.
world of X-Men is huge. Besides just the
Yeah, but you're
famous
only
robots.
mentioning 2 villains so far, or part of that world.
The robots are huge. Remember the robots that they come around?
Can you
to us all the
can you
time?
say their names?
I actually can't.
Oh, you
I
can look
can't.
it up. Okay,
I
it's the
can't, but
Sentinels.
I still.
I can
Can you
help
say
out.
the names?
Sentinels.
Oh,
Oh.
fuck yeah, you're right. But I don't know.
I
Dude.
thought they had like
No, this,
Sentinel Man and
no. They were
Carl.
awesome though.
Hot Robot. Or something, you know what I mean?
That was like one of my favorite things. Of I think it was maybe I think it was X-Men 3, where like you see them like in the room,
the training room,
training
or
room,
training room or something?
the danger room. I think
X2.
it's called.
Yeah.
And you see the head fall down. I'm like, oh, cool, the Sentinels are here. You know, and they
Yeah.
actually did a good job of portraying the original.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, fucking, I know X-Men are better, so whatever.
Okay,
Well, it's
so,
up to the judge.
so yeah,
Yeah.
I was the judge here. Sorry, John.
Gosh.
Gotta get rid of Justice League here.
Alright.
Now I am hard stuck on these two because I have seen both of these shows.
I hope so.
And
Yeah.
X-Men was my number 2, so don't get it wrong. I do support X-Men.
And X-Men's
More
on
than
my list too. I'm a very big fan
Yeah.
of it. But
I guess it's hard to ask that question. You know, it's hard to paint a picture because these are TV shows. You know, they're
Yeah.
series. Let's ask the good old question: if these are both on at the same time and it's just one random episode,
oh, easy.
which one? Even if you know your pick may be Batman. What would you guys rather watch? If you can only watch one for the rest of your life, as in your kin,
Those are 2 different
your
questions.
kin.
yes.
Okay, your kin after you.
Mm.
You can only have them watch one of these shows out of these 2.
Yeah. If
They
you
will
wanna
never
teach your
see
kids what
Batman.
good superhero
They will never
TV
see
is.
X-Men. What would you pick?
Um,
And why?
you go ahead, Aaron.
That's a
Yeah,
tough.
that's
That's
a
a tough question to
hard
ask there.
choice.
So
I think
okay.
these are tough to pick.
So the first question you asked is which would you rather watch? And I would rather watch Batman. I think it's just more complicated or more in depth, you know. To have my kid watch forever, I think the Rogues Gallery of the Batman show is better. I think I'd rather him watch that. I think the lessons are truer. So I think if you're
what
trying
kind
to
of lessons am I giving?
well, it's. I mean, every episode has another lesson it's showing you. I mean, it does it subtly, but you know, there's vanity, there's greed, things like that to avoid. It shows all of them because that's classic Batman villains. There's something other than Joker. There's always something that they do that's like, you know, he fell into greed or something like that. And so I think it does a really good job of showing all those. It's just a great world. It's an amazing, well done world. And don't get me wrong, X-Men amazing as well. I love
Indeed.
X-Men. It's a very hard question because I'd be happy with either choice.
These
on
are
that
actually
one.
really hard to
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah.
Screech, you have anything you want to say?
I think X-Men is more well-rounded than Batman too, because
Yeah.
they have such a wide variety of characters. They could be tackling a different issue in each episode, whether it be like
Yeah, you're just literally getting different aspects into a situation because they're all a bunch of different people from different countries, as well. There's some maybe inappropriate things sometimes, like sexual stuff, but not too sexual.
Well, there's
but, like,
death in both of these shows.
yeah, but I'm talking about like sexuality and stuff. But if I was stuck with one, the thing is, Batman, I would want to watch it forever because of the villains, but X-Men I would want to watch it forever because of the heroes itself. So I don't know.
I know that's a very good point you just said.
Yeah.
And I like Batman as a hero a lot, but his
Yeah.
villains are what I think makes.
And
him
Batman,
so
we're just
amazing.
getting Batman. And X-Men, we're getting all the X-Men. So
That's
that's
a
why
good
it's
point.
kind of hard. That's why I try to do like all the X-Men versus all of the Batman.
And I think
villains.
this is the best version of Batman, and I think that's the best version of X-Men.
Yeah,
This is a good.
It is a tough one.
yeah.
Uh,
Because it's like I just said,
yeah.
it's a group of
I
X-Men
like what
versus
you
a group
said.
of
I like
Batman
what
villains.
you said. I like how. I guess I can kind of see that. Batman. I love the villains from Batman.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what makes Batman. I guess it's not like the hero.
It's what makes
Everyone
The
heroes.
loves.
real thing
Really.
as a kid, those
And
were
then
my
the X-Men,
favorite heroes
yeah,
as
the
X-Men, like
X-Men,
Wolverine them. So
yeah,
I would
the
want my
X-Men.
kid to watch
I
that
see what
first
you're
because they're mine.
This is tough, guys, and it's hard. But I think I'm gonna go with X-Men here.
Okay.
Well, why is that? I need to hear this.
Well, actually, what you said at the end, I'm trying to see it as just a show for Batman, and I really like what you had to say. How I love the villains. You know, I wanted to go with Bane on my list because I wanted to be
Oh my
biased.
God,
I wanted
yeah.
to be biased so bad, but I was
Yeah.
trying not to. So, and it's cool to see them in that show, but I think when you're watching this, like, I guess you kind of want to see Batman kick ass, and the X-Men, I can see all these characters that are I feel like almost on the same level. And your argument might be, oh well, why didn't you see mine on the same level? I feel like the Justice League, I don't feel like they're all on the same level. I feel like some are a lot higher. I guess if that makes sense. Like
there's 6 supers.
A
bunch of
exactly. Yeah.
Together. Gotcha.
So I'm gonna go with X-Men from number 2, boys.
Nice.
Suck it.
Actually, we're going with Batman now.
After all that debating, could we unanimously agree that Batman should be 3?
Not a fight for Amazing Spider-Man.
So if I'm going to be honest here, I figured Tab was going to do the thing, and it was either going to be vice versa. It was either going to be vice versa.
I have to use the Tiana.
So do we want
to
skip number 3? Because if I chose Batman for number 2, so whoever said X-Men, I was going to.
So let's get this through real quick. I'm going to say Batman on my number 2.
Yeah,
what do you say?
Batman 2. Yeah.
Batman, and you're going to say.
Yeah, let's go Batman.
Okay, so is there anything we want to mention that wasn't mentioned already about Batman? The music is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's also by...
How about, since we
even
have the time for it.
Since I said the group of villains versus the X-Men heroes, the group of villains, even the smallest ones, my favorite characters are 2, like, not even big ones. Oh, to me, they're not. It's Scarecrow and Poison Ivy. But to pick, like, someone like Poison Ivy, like, really low on the totem pole of villains shows even that their smallest characters are something to be remembered.
One thing that's cool too is if you play the Arkham games, and I think Arkham games are really the best Batman games. Let's be honest, right? And I think it's almost because it uses the same voice acting. It's almost like you're playing in that world too. Mm-hmm. The art, really like that. It's like a more realistic version of the animated show. So I really like that. I think that's if they were smart, they would just take those Arkham games and make those the new movies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be dope.
That'd be perfect.
Why not?
Anything else you want to say on this?
About Batman? Or your favorite episode? Or
pretty awesome.
First time you watched it?
Favorite Batman episode? What do you think?
Give me one.
I have to rewatch the series. It's been so long since I've watched them.
So many good episodes.
I could probably give me a week and I'll probably rewatch them all.
Yeah.
Then we'll go back over it.
It just came out on Blu-ray, huh? Or is it on? I think it's on Amazon Prime right now too.
Yeah. I want to say that the one with the Flying Graysons, where it actually starts to get into the Robin, is really really good.
Oh yeah, we got the
Okay, so hold on. If this counts as an episode, I gotta say this one real quick. People hate me if I don't. The best episode of both Superman and Batman is when they team up and Lex Luthor and Joker team up, and it's the combo movie with the.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that. Yeah.
It is phenomenal. It's way better than Batman vs Superman, the live action.
That was pretty
Did people
good,
actually watch that?
It was, but that is such a good movie when those two team up. They did a really good job.
Yeah.
All right, so Batman is our number 3.
All right.
Yep.
All right, that's good.
All right, Squeaks, you got a number 3 for me? Or number 4?
Number 4, I'm gonna go with Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man. Like X-Men, like I talked about, we got the true of how grown up Spider-Man should be. What I liked about it was that I wasn't so focused on him being a kid anymore of high school. I'm over that. I get it. You went to high school, cool, and graduated. We got a little older Spider-Man. We got instead of nowadays, he jokes, of course, but he's not like overly joking all the time. Or I mean, he is, but it feels like it's a more adultish way instead of just like the Andrew Garfield one where we're just spitting out stupid shit.
Yeah, I can't stand those ones.
Yeah, I like that one. Awesome. You get to really see the real villains in that one. They even done crazy episodes where he meets Stan Lee.
Oh yeah, it's a whole big episode. Yeah. Stanley's like running on his back.
Pops up in the window and whatever.
Yeah,
and he's like on his back swinging around the city.
That's a good one.
I just like, and growing up wise, was anything that started from the comic books that they could go from.
When they stay true to him.
Yeah, and
that's
even like the old school art. Or it's kind of like the same as I guess X-Men in a way. They look the same pretty much art wise. Would you say? Pretty close.
Yeah, you might be.
Was it all around the same time?
Yeah. Oh, 90s was a beautiful time for animated superhero shows.
So yeah, I feel like there was a lot more dangerous risk when it comes to Spider-Man trying to save people and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Now I could say there's more villains that I can remember in Spider-Man than I for sure in X-Men. That's for sure. I don't know why, but the Lizard is like my main villain. I pop in my head when I think about the animated shows.
It's funny. You're right. Yeah, it does pop in your head pretty good. And Doc Ock, I think Doc Ock does a good job because he had that lab coat and the glasses.
And I'm thinking like when Lizard was wearing the lab coat. Remember, he's like, but he's in lizard form.
That's funny. You bring that up. You picture that right away.
Yeah. So
that's a good show.
I just miss those characters. Yeah, those villains for sure.
John, you're on the clock.
I'm gonna fight for Captain Planet and Planeteers. This was from 1990 to 96.
How did I not think of this one?
I know. It's pretty cool. I don't know. when I was researching, I was like, oh man, I remember that. I remember the song. Like as soon as you see him, you're like thinking the theme song.
Sing the song.
I'm not gonna sing it, but maybe we can add a link to it.
I sing mine.
You did.
Number one.
But it's about these 5 kids who have these like magical rings, I guess, that give them powers. They each can control or affect a different.
Given to them by Gaia.
By Gaia.
Gaia, the woman, she's like represents Earth.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so they allow them to control or affect at least a different element of nature, and so they try to fight for the environment, fight pollution and stuff like that. And when they put their rings together, they come together. They can summon Captain Planet, which is a superhero that can come and pretty much save the day. So they should pretty much start every event just putting their rings together. But
Like Power
they
Rangers.
try to do it on their own.
It is a Power Rangers.
They put it together,
Yeah.
have a Megazord. Why don't you just do it in the beginning?
But it's actually a really like cool show, really interesting show. I liked it, and I mean it's the first that I can think of good show that actually has like a positive, not positive morals, but like it. I mean,
Positive message, yeah.
yeah, good message.
Yeah.
It's all about
A real
helping
message
our
too, though.
environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that we really need to think about in today. Like,
Yeah, polar bears.
Global.
Coca-Cola.
yeah, like they come together to fight pollution and save our planet. So it's like that's kind of cool. It's a real down to earth, realistic message they're trying to send.
Yeah.
So good show.
Anybody want to add on that, I guess? Or you still
no,
have a little bit of time?
I don't have it on my list, but it's a good one, Jonathan. You were right. The villains were all normal humans that were just greedy and pollution hungry, so that was kind of cool. See
It's
something
like you're
with super villains.
fighting corporations.
Yeah, fighting corporations a lot of times that were just
Yeah.
super rich and using technology to their advantage.
Yeah.
That one big fat guy with a white coat, he was a human, right? Because he had like a pig nose.
Kingpin?
No, he was Captain Planet's
Penguin?
Kingpin. That's what it was. It was Penguin. Yeah, I remember the rubber duckies now.
Yeah. All right, Dad. You ready?
You're
on the clock.
Yes.
Number 4.
The Avengers: Earth Mightiest Heroes from 2010 to 2013. This was a short-lived show that it's a tragedy that they canceled it too soon. And the reason they did it is because this show stayed pretty close to the comic books. And then they were like, oh, no, we need to make sure that we have it look more like the movies. So they rebooted it to this another show called Avengers Assemble, which now resembles the movie much more, and it's not nearly as good. But Avengers: Earth Mightiest Heroes is much more accurate to the comic books. It has the original Avengers cast. What I really like about this show is the first initial. Well, okay, so there is the overextending arcs, like the creation of the Avengers, and they have stuff like that. But what I like about it is it felt like you were reading a comic book in that you started the show off, and this is the set rules. Some of the things continued from the last episode, but generally here's the set rules. You have the Avengers. This one's in town. This one's out of town. Whatever. Okay, something happened, and it may be a two-parter or something like that. But generally, it's something that needs to be solved. These Avengers get together. XXX power works together to make this problem go away, and then everything's fine at the end of the episode. It felt like you were reading a comic book. Some arcs continued, like Ant-Man got hurt, and so Ant-Man was, in the next episode, Ant-Man was hurt, but that was something that happened. Now it had a short story, so it just felt like comic book in that way, where you had short, brief. So if you ever read comic books, I like to read trades instead, which are like the 5-issue comic books, to where you get a full story arc. There's things that continue through all of them, but those ones, it's the same exact thing. Lastly, best version of Hank Pym, because it actually showed Hank Pym lose it a little bit, and he became Yellow Jacket, and I love that version of Yellow Jacket way better than the Batman or the Ant-Man movie Yellow Jacket. It was just a lot closer to the comics. I was like exactly.
Was that one?
pretty sexy.
Was that one? Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel? How old is that?
2010 to 2013.
Because I'm looking at an image
It
right
actually
now.
did this. If I remember correctly, it actually did the story
Yeah.
of Marvel.
Child.
I think it actually did the full story too. It did her origin story, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because I
It's
read
on
that in the
Netflix.
comics. I read that in the comic book actually. How she switched.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at an image and I love the art.
Yeah,
But,
very good.
It's
art,
just
very
modern, perfect comic book art.
Yeah.
But she has like a little bit of both. Like it looks like Captain Marvel, but
I
then
want to
she's
say
Miss
it
Marvel at
started
the
as
same
Miss
time.
Marvel. I don't remember exactly. It did a really good job of Vision. Oh man, Vision was so good in it.
Yeah.
It looks
This-
like they're trying to directly do our classic comic book art
Just
with
in
modern,
modern day.
crisp.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, that's how the show was done, and it's a shame that
I'm gonna have to buy it. Movie.
Disneyfication messed it up. It's on Netflix,
I don't really care. Oh, is it? I don't really care for the Iron Man look, but you know what?
but it was.
I
a
know I want to
realistic
stick to
Iron Man.
my Spider-Man. I'm jumping a little bit. I know I want to stick to my Spider-Man, but man, this is just like I wish I would have watched this. I haven't watched it.
I hope
but
you do. Only 2
yeah.
seasons.
Dang.
It is super. Maybe
And they
three,
literally
but it's
have
super
every
good.
character, even once it's like whatever. They even
Yeah.
put Beast from X-Men on it. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
because it's pretty true to the comics.
Damn.
Because Beast has to be because Beast becomes part of the Illuminati, so they need to bring him in. They need to bring him in on the.
Fuck that show.
So it kind of sounded like you're there swayed a little bit.
I'm swayed a little bit.
Defend Spider-Man, sure, but I mean,
Yeah, I'll defend
I'm
Spider-Man.
happy to see that you're going to at least give us a chance.
Yeah,
It's a really
yeah.
good show.
Yeah. Are we defending?
Yeah.
Okay. Spider-Man also brought from those characters amazing games. Okay, PS1 playing Spider-Man where you have to like chase around Venom.
That is a good game.
Just saying, that's same art, same everything about it.
I like it.
I don't know. It's just my favorite besides this Tom Holland. That's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. We got a younger Spider-Man. He's cool. But my version of Spider-Man is just I'm over this kid form. So if you want the older Spider-Man that is out of that phase, and just got like a modern. Well, I guess not modern because I don't know. If you read comic books, Spider-Man now is like a Tony Parker. But anyway, like a true. I just feel like all around Spider-Man. That's the one. And that's
I
why
do like the
love
version of
series
Spider-Man
three.
in the comics right now, where he's now the
Which one are you reading?
benefactor.
Because there's like a couple of them.
It was. Oh God.
I have Worldwide, which I don't know if I'll finish.
It's a little bit here and there. It's been a while, but I like how now he's kind of the Tony Stark of the Avengers.
Yeah, I'm reading that one too. I don't know if I'll continue it though.
Yeah. I'm ready for all three rebirths. I'm happy that I got that new Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made another one of Spider-Man where it's like pretty much just Spider-Man.
Oh, is it
But then
full
they
reboot?
made because I was talking to him, and then they made the Tony Stark one,
Okay.
which I read, and I don't know if I'll continue.
Captain Planet win. Anything you want?
So in defense of Captain Planet,
It was like
Spider-Man or the Avengers, like the Avengers might save New York or a city or whatever, and Spider-Man might save whatever city he's in, I don't know. Captain Planet is the only cartoon that might possibly have potential to have real impact on our Earth that we live in today. If some young guy back in the day was watching us like we are, and now he's a freaking CEO of Amazon, then or some big corporation, or a political official or whatever, they can have influence on changing our pollution and our environmental controls and all that kind of stuff. So
I have read arguments that
Yeah, me
Captain
too.
Planet has actually influenced today's politics. I have actually read that article.
Yeah,
I've read across.
and let's think about it. Spider-Man beating all these villains' ass, or you give a fuck about the planet? Fuck the planet. Okay, let's be real.
Who's it?
Who's gonna? You'd be like, global warming, all that show on the news. But if Spider-Man flew by your building right now, you're gonna turn that news off and see what's going on.
But that's
Okay.
reality versus fiction.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's not really going to swing by your window. Global warming might possibly
You're
be
gonna
real
say
and kill
Santa
us all.
Claus is fake too?
Don't let... no. We don't talk about that kind of
Talk
stuff.
to your parents about that one.
First off, he's real. But
better be
Yeah, I saw
He
him
better
at
be
Macy's last Christmas.
yeah.
Why was my tree empty this year?
So I'm gonna.
Whose lap did I sit on
I know it's Santa.
That's how-
last week?
What else? What else do you want from us, Judge?
Um,
Or maybe you made a decision.
I kind of actually made
Doc
a
Ock.
decision.
Okay, hold on.
But if you guys have something else to say, go ahead, please.
I do. Go ahead.
So I think a big important thing too is how you're saying that like Captain Planet affected the real world because people were motivated by the stories. I think that's true for all superheroes in a way. You see the superheroes as a hero, somebody you look up to. If you're watching the Avengers heroes and you see Captain America do above and beyond for America, you might take inspiration from that. You see Beast that values knowledge over brute strength,
So what would you
although brute strength is there.
What would you do with that?
You become a better person.
Captain Planet's encouraging you to
I can see
cycle
though-
and
So
save your
the reason
environment.
why Captain Planet, I love that show.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm so hard about this. I love all these.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying no to that one is because it's not using their full strength right off the bat. In Avengers and in X-Men and what was one you were just saying?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man uses his full strength to try to win the day every time. In Avengers, Iron Man's there. Hulk is there. They're doing their thing right away. Oh man, the Hulk storyline in that show is good. But these guys, it's the Power Rangerification where they go at it by themselves individually. It doesn't work. It's very formulaic. Then they bring in Captain Planet.
Yeah.
That formula is the only reason why I don't think it deserves to be too high.
Back
now.
then, it was amazing before. Now we've seen other series and stuff like that. But back then, that formula was one of the reasons you watched it. You liked
Well,
that
yeah,
anticipation.
it worked so well for Power Rangers and for other things.
Yeah, I was
like
gonna
that.
say I like Power Rangers.
Yeah.
They try to
Voltron-
fight in the beginning.
Same thing with Voltron. Voltron's the
Kids
same
are
thing where they
pussies.
join together.
Untrue.
They're
Yeah,
strong.
you want to see their independent abilities and how they use them and stuff like that. And then, okay, it doesn't work. Just like the Avengers. You want to see Iron Man try to fight somebody, but it doesn't work on his own. So, okay, I need to pull in some other guys and work together.
Let me ask you something though. Does it age as well as R2?
Oh, no. But, well, because yours have been replicated over and over
If you
again.
put on the if you put on the same cartoons right now on TV, that one nobody gives a shit about.
Well, because
Nah.
nowadays we watch
Shut
shows
up,
differently. Like that can't be binged. There's no way that show can be binged because you would catch the formula too easy.
Yeah, you get bored of it. But, I don't know. So, my memories of watching it back then, I really liked it. But, watching it now probably wouldn't hold up compared
So I'm not saying necessarily that's the reason he needs to make a decision, but I'm just saying out of the other three of us, I think that one ages the
So,
worst.
I like.
If Bill Gates watched this when he was a kid, would we be doing better? Or
He probably did.
yeah, exactly. So because Bill Gates watched this as a kid, we're doing better in the world than if
He was probably bad in his 20s, but yeah.
I see what Taff was
young
saying.
adult. He was
I see what Taff was saying
influenced.
earlier. How like I could also just see, to add on, I guess, to what you were saying, is like I could see like Captain America or someone just being like, only you can prevent forest fires. You know what I mean? Or don't forget to collect 10 cents and
It's the
recycle,
hero
kids. You know
part
what
of
I mean?
superheroes.
Like,
And so those would motivate you to like be a cop and defend people or go to the
and
military.
then I might be
or
like,
some-
I'm gonna recycle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like
Yeah.
that. So
Well, one last thing. Okay, so Spider-Man brought Mysterio, sorry.
Rey Mysterio.
Lizard. It got Venom, got Carnage, got Doc Ock.
Ooh.
These are all the best villains in the Marvel Universe.
You're naming great villains, but how are they? Are they great because of the show?
Well, yeah, because it's kind of like what we talked about Batman.
They didn't invent those.
It's like Batman. You got
Well,
Spider-Man as Batman.
They're already in the comic book series, right? They weren't just.
Well,
made
yeah,
for
I'm
the
talking
TV
about
show.
the show. Yeah. Because we talk about Batman, then we got a great. You could say a sporting cast. The sporting cast.
Yeah, the Rogues Gallery. Their depiction in that show was really good. Right?
Depiction.
Depiction.
Yeah, the dick fiction.
The dick picture.
That's afterwards, guys.
we all hope this new Venom movie is going to be like the animated series. Let's be honest.
I wish they would take the Carnage storyline out of there and use that.
Have you seen the Pops?
Hey, there might be a leak of Carnage in this movie.
Yeah, played by
Is it the kid from
Woody Harrelson?
Gotham? No,
I think Woody Harrelson's playing Carnage.
I thought it was the kid from Gotham.
Because it has to be
The
a
Joker
guy in an insane asylum.
Oh,
Plays
the
Carnage.
Joker kid from Gotham.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be
That
cool.
would sway me so
I
hard
read
to that.
something about that, but you're right. The pops came out, which I'm gonna fucking get.
They look amazing.
The Carnage villain.
Oh yeah.
A Carnage pop, and it's the same title on top of the Venom movie.
Okay, that's amazing.
Look them up; they're pretty bad.
That's why it's funny that you're saying that off topic. That's why a lot of people hate when pops get released before the movies.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of spoilers for
Yeah.
movies without.
That happens a lot in a lot of action figures.
Sure.
You know, because they have to make action figures quite a bit ahead of time.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I like actually. So when it comes to sorry. He did try to sway me. He was like Captain Planet when you guys were talking. That's why I was laughing. He was like Captain Planet, and then he was like.
You can't tell that's me caressing his thigh gently.
Yeah, that did not visually come.
So
through.
one thing that when it comes to like anything superhero, I always go to you two guys. You guys are my go-to
Yeah,
superhero
geeks,
nerds.
I
Yeah.
get it. Love that term.
So the fact that you both were very strong on the Avengers, and the fact that Squeaks was even impressed, I think that says a lot. Like you're like high on.
By animation.
Yeah. Well,
that's
yeah.
right.
Well, yeah. I know you haven't seen it. That says a lot. I'm not sold on anything, so I'm gonna go a little biased here. And I'm actually gonna go with the Spider-Man.
Woo!
The Spider-Man's very.
It is very good,
Yeah.
and I have that is one I have seen. Well, actually,
It's a
I've seen all of
classic,
this
too, I
list
mean,
so far,
you know.
so I guess I'm not as bad as.
It is very good.
I think
I'm
if-
happy with
yeah.
that. But
I think if we all would have seen your Avengers one,
Yeah.
I think for sure it'd be.
And I'm not
used to-
surprised we haven't. I guess because I mean, when you
It's
said it came out in
newer,
2010.
Yeah.
came out 2010 till
So there- yeah,
2013,
there's no
and
way
they
I would
canceled it
watch
to
it.
remake it as Avengers Assemble. So I don't know how long Avengers Assemble lasted,
Right.
but that was more like the movie.
Yeah.
This is more like the comic.
You said it was very strict, true to comics and stuff?
very true to comics, and like I said, it felt like reading
Yeah,
a comic.
that
It
sounds-
was really
that sounds
nice.
cool.
I'm gonna check it out when I
Yeah.
go home for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Samesies.
Watch it before Disney takes it off, because you know they're taking all their stuff off on Netflix. So
But they own Hulu, right? We talked about that, don't they?
ABC, they're gonna start their own streaming service. Though Disney's starting
Yeah,
their
I
own
know,
streaming
but it's like
service.
bullshit. You're gonna own Hulu and your own one.
Well, they
Money
own
grabbers.
part of Hulu,
Yeah,
but
They own
through ABC.
how much of the movie industry now?
True.
Yeah.
Actually, once they buy Fox, they'll own 2 parts of it.
already
Yeah.
going in.
Damn, it's
All
crazy.
right,
Number 5.
John,
Want
start
number
us
5
off
now?
with number 5.
Okay.
My number 5 is going to be Batman Beyond. It's a really good
Ooh.
TV show. It's where like a
That's
high
going to
high school kid is brought under old Bruce Wayne's wing to
Did that bring
train
in,
him.
what's the guy's name?
Huh?
What am I thinking of? It's like another bat, I guess.
Yeah, he has a little bit different.
The red and
It's
black.
like the red and black, really sleek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he still
Daniel reads
Batman?
those comics.
He's Batman, but he's like
He's not
Spider-Man.
Bruce
age.
Wayne.
He's
Bruce Wayne is in it. He's the guy.
Yeah, he's
that's
his
training
mentor.
him. Mentor, yeah.
Yeah, so he's learning from the classic.
Yeah. So what's
Bruce
his
Wayne.
name? He's
The
not.
kid is
It's like-
Terry McGinnis.
Yeah,
No.
McGinnis. It's an Irish.
Yeah, Terry. I don't know his last name. Yeah, you're right.
It's a McGinnis.
Yeah, okay.
It's that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Pictures
Do you
too
show?
good.
Let me show you. Yeah.
So it was I don't know. It was a really cool series. I didn't.
It took place in the future, so you had higher tech.
It was only
Yeah.
only 2 years. 2 years that it was aired.
Dang, really?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
It seems like it was longer. I remember watching
It spawned a
more.
lot of fandom for it, so now they actually brought in comic books that are off of it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It had a standalone movie too, where Joker came back as like a virus, I think it was.
Is it virus?
Yeah, like a computer. I don't remember.
Wow.
That guy.
I don't know about that.
That damn.
I can almost
You
guarantee
gave
you,
me
voiced
herpes.
by Mark Hamill.
Yeah, probably. So it was a good show. I like the younger Batman, but it was cool having the Bruce Wayne Batman as his older mentor. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, kind of passing the torch.
But he
Yeah.
still went by the name as Batman.
Yeah, the character was still Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of like little tricky parts about that because it was like people didn't believe Batman was back, and he was like some guy that was like portraying Batman,
He's
not
phone.
portraying, but portraying. It was very, very good. There's even one of my favorite scenes. If you're done talking, I don't mean to take your
Yeah,
time.
that's
One of my favorite scenes was there was a scene where Bruce actually gets attacked, and he's the old man,
Yeah.
and he just kicks his ass with it. He's got the cane, and
Yeah.
he's like beats the heck out of the guy.
He's like, don't think I'm not
he's
still
still
Batman.
Bruce. Yeah.
Man, I like the younger version of Batman. Seems like an edgier version of Spider-Man. The way it's like it's a young kid,
very
spunky,
sleek, yeah.
but yeah.
There was a lot of high hopes that when JGL was revealed as Robin in the new Batman movies, and we knew that Christian Bale was going to be gone,
Yeah.
they're like, oh my god, this will be Batman Beyond then.
That'd be tight.
Oh, that would be, that'd be so
Yeah.
cool.
It would be cool, but
A lot of fans, it doesn't have a lot of fans, but the fans that are fans of it are diehard fans, like Last Airbender kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
All right, Jeff, you ready for number 5?
my number 5. What's going to be your number 5, real quick?
my number 5 is Batman Beyond.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, so just real quick, mine's going to be Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I think it needs to be on this list. But Young Justice, I just want to shout out. Just to give a quick synopsis of that, because they're actually bringing it back for the DC streaming service coming out. It did 2 seasons just like the other one did, or 3, whatever. It's 2010 to 2013, same thing. And it's about like a covert op version of Justice League, but it's the younger kids, all the sidekicks that are trying to prove themselves as like real heroes. So it's got Nightwing. Well, season 2 has Nightwing. It has Tim Drake, Robin. My second favorite Robin was my favorite. But it had Aqualad and Superboy and stuff like that. And it's like more of a, it is a grittier Justice League, and it's in there, like I said, covert ops and stuff like that. And so I just want to shout that out. It's a very good show. If you guys haven't seen it, please check it out. And the DC streaming service is bringing back the show for season 3.
So it's Young Justice.
Young Justice. It's like an older version of Teen Titans almost.
Oh, that's good.
And Teen Titans is a good one too. The original Teen Titans, not the Teen
Yeah,
Titans
it was
show.
botched when they changed it, but yeah, it was good before.
Yeah.
So-
too kiddish.
Yeah, it was. So my favorite, I'm going to say, is the event, or my 5th one, the Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. This is my second time, so my last time. Well,
It's the honor roll.
that's the honor roll.
They call it that.
Yeah.
Your wife's listening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tiana.
She knows my passion. I was fighting for her.
So the reason that I like Earth's Mightiest Heroes is it felt very close to the comic books. And one of my favorite storylines, I'm just going to go ahead and use this as my pitch. Vision is set up to do maintenance mode. He's going to be under for a while. He comes back out after like a month and sees that the world is controlled by the villainous, seems like, Iron Man. And Iron Man now has big patrols and big Iron Man's robotics that are running around patrolling the city. And what it really was that Mr. Purple, I think his name is, I can't remember his actual name, but the one from Jessica Jones, the villain from the first season of that, has been whispering in Tony Stark's ear and convincing him that he needs to patrol the city to keep it, or patrol the world to keep it safe. So the only person who wasn't corrupted by this was, and like even like Thor as his bodyguard and stuff like that, the only one that wasn't corrupted by this was Vision, and so Vision has to go out and then like undo all the damage that Tony did and stuff like that. And it's such a comic book kind of story. It's like a what if. And then at the end, everything's okay, and Tony, does good for all the evil that had happened. And it's just one of those stories. It's like you get in, you enjoy this what if, this amazing story, and you get right back out.
Kilgrave.
Thank you,
Purple Man.
Purple Man.
Yeah.
Go. Okay, he's a good villain. I really liked him. Jessica Jones. Sorry, go ahead.
Batman Beyond also. Like the Awesome Bats. Oh, I won't need it. I'm just piggybacking off of John. The Awesome Bat suit, because it's like the technology version of it. It has a bunch of like
Tony Stark
gadgets and stuff. Yeah, it's basically Tony Stark. But also, it's Tony Stark mixed with Peter Parker.
It's
Because
it's
how he
actually
acts,
like
yeah.
that new Spider-Man suit, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it's like Peter Parker's attitude with Tony Stark's suit. And I like how we get the interaction between Bruce and Terry. It's like if Spider-Man were talking to Batman. I also like how there's old characters still involved with it. You see still Batgirl. Why am I not thinking of her name? Gordon's daughter.
Oh, Barbara Gordon?
Barbara, yeah. You can see Barbara and just older villains still in it, like they're still causing problems and whatnot. So I did like to see the brought back versions of older characters. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm agreeing with Batman Beyond.
Yeah, it's pretty bomb.
No.
I'm gonna record this so Daniel. I'm gonna send this to Daniel because he would have Batman Beyond as his number one. Batman Beyond sucks.
Whoa! Whoa! Dang!
So I want to make sure I'm gonna send him this because he should be here with us. They did not flesh out the character enough. The stories are very shallow. They stayed in the world of he's new. It's definitely not good. You can flip the green. It's definitely not good enough compared to the ensemble cast, the huge, diverse stories of Avengers. It's a cool idea, but it's almost like a small spin-off of the Batman animated series, which we already agreed was one of the best. So
it is pretty much a spin-off of the
it's
best.
a spin-off.
You're getting the diversity of two characters being a whole movie. You don't need all those characters in one.
Sure.
Right. You're right, you don't need them, but you got them. If you got a little bit of
an
everything
ensemble of good characters, then way better than Avengers is the Justice League. I'm just saying. I stopped fighting for that. I used it twice.
I like how you're like, the Justice League, everybody got quiet. We're like,
that was a long time ago. That's an hour ago.
So, I'll stop recording this in a little bit. But yeah, I just think that, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes stay true to the comics. They ended up making a comic after this one because there are some true fans. But honestly, this show has some diehard fans. They stopped watching once they changed it to Avengers Assemble. I did. I think it's better than Batman Beyond. I think pretty much everything we've said so far is better than Batman Beyond. Just because I don't think Batman Beyond went deep enough. I think it stayed too shallow.
Why do you guys think it went deep enough?
It was pretty deep.
Thank you for that insight, Joe. Squigs, anything else you want to say?
No, I mean I just like the diversity of Terry and Bruce, or diversity of Terry and Bruce, and
dynamic. That's a good term.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
it's been too long since I've watched these. Like, if we're gonna really dig into them, we gotta rewatch all these series.
You start to watch and you hear the intro of either Superman or Batman or X-Men. It takes you to being young again. Because I have them all on the DVDs, you know. Yeah. And
you sound like Grandpa. I have them all on, the DVDs.
I have them all. Well, because I have them in a digital form, but I legally have them all on DVDs. Yeah. And so you hear those intros right away, and you're like, oh man, it's like running home after school, doing your homework, and the kitchen with the TV. Remember we had the kitchen and the TV?
Yeah.
And like
the kitchen and the TV? Oh, TV in the kitchen.
TV in the kitchen, sorry. Okay. Yeah, me and Jonathan, we brothers, so we had...
Right. For the judge pick, Gargoyles.
Yes.
Gargoyles, that would have been my number one if that was a superhero, but
it was listed for as superhero.
What?
Was it?
Yeah. Start over.
Yeah, no, I know.
Better read debate number one.
I wouldn't say it'd be a superhero.
So I guess my thing here is I don't feel like I'm giving enough for Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
You guys have anything you can sway me with? Or
no, because
Batman thrown into the future because it's more high tech and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And imagine
I guess
Batman
for me it's just like usually I feel like spin-offs. Is basically what I got off of it. One of the first things you said before Taff said it was a spin-off was what I got. I was like, hey, this is a spin-off. Yeah. Usually I feel like they kind of are just
but it's
shitty.
Better. It's good. It's like it's almost a really good example. I didn't think about it before, but the new Spider-Man where he's got the high-tech suit. He's like skinny and lanky and full of energy and doing flips over the walls and stuff like that. But he's being trained by the original Batman. So
My thing to counter, I guess, what you said is, the new Spider-Man sucks. So.
Oh, I like the new Spider-Man.
I would disagree with you there.
No, I don't.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man, I think, is the best Spider-Man we've gotten.
That's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah. Before I was like, oh man, another freaking young kid in high school, but
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be bad because that
his
last
voice, everything about it is
Yeah.
perfect.
What was the one
I like the one before him.
What?
Yeah, the one from
Andrew Garfield?
Yeah.
He's the worst Spider-Man ever.
Holy fuck! I was
no.
never heard that all in one sentence.
Really? No,
before.
I think Taff.
Oh
I think
my-
Taff agrees with me. I don't know. He was
No.
I was gonna say you better get the fuck off this table right now.
We're trying to bring down profanity, but I you know what? Worth it. Totally worth it.
I give Taff a little wink.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not sold on Batman Beyond, so I think I'm gonna go with the Avengers for this one, boys.
I think that's good. Let me some.
Yeah, because I'm being persuaded right now to watch it. So
Yeah, I do want to watch the Avengers. After just looking at some pictures and stuff, it looks really good.
All right, that's our top 5.
I like it. So you got to recap?
Yeah. So for our top 5
Go from 5
animated
to 5 to 1.
superhero list,
Yeah.
we have number 5 being the Avengers,
Earth Mightiest Heroes.
Earth Mightiest Heroes.
Thank you.
We have the Spider-Man.
Mm.
What was the full?
I think it might have been Spider-Man the animated
Yeah.
show. All of them
Animated
were
show,
called
was it
that.
like the Amazing
I think it was just the
Spider-Man, or-
Amazing Spider-Man.
That's what I thought. So,
Okay.
So we have Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Number 3, we have Batman, the animated series. Number 2, we have X-Men. And for number 1, we have Superman.
Yeah.
That's a good list, guys.
Pretty
Honestly,
good,
like
Those
all
pretty
5 of
good.
those are fantastic shows. Even our honorable mentions, Young Justice, The
I kind of
Tick.
want to go back and watch all the X-Men's again, too. Now.
They're really good.
Yeah, one thing with X-Men.
X-Men was on my list. If it didn't make it, I'd be arguing
Yeah,
it too.
I do remember very vividly. I remember the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jumps
I remember waking up and being like, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a good day.
What's my ringtone for a while?
The Batman intro, I didn't mention this, but the Batman intro, the first 2 seasons was actually taken from the Tim Burton movie, and then they had this Shirley Welleberry or something like that. She ended up making a new intro that's very similar to it.
Kiss from
So I
Rose.
like that. Kiss from it was from God. Anything else you guys want to mention? Any podcasts or what do you guys
Do
currently?
you want to pull our next topic?
We could. We have a couple coming out. We have the Tom Hanks one coming out, and then we have another Disney one coming out with another guest star.
Yeah, we got a lot of listening to do.
Small Beans, Hardly Heroes. I'm listening to My Favorite Murder and The Dollop. And
Yeah, I gotta catch up on the dollop. I think
there's a
I'm behind
couple
4.
that I'm behind on right now.
Yeah.
It's just so much. I'm binge listening to some other ones, so it's hard.
I need to go back to riding my bike.
Cracked
to
is
work.
always good.
Shout out to our listeners.
What's that? Shout out to our listeners.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, we
All
love
of you
you.
guys.
Yeah. Thank you guys. You can follow us on all the social medias that will be announced at the end. We have the Redbubble store. I'll put in the link below. It's sort of working. I'm just getting there. If you buy a shirt or whatever, a little bit of the money comes to us so that we can eventually buy a new mic so we sound nice and clear and you can hear all the
Yeah.
beautiful voices.
Set up a legit studio.
Yeah, we're working on that. We're about 2.5 months away from the new studio being done. We have to put my house in, and then we put the studio inside the house.
Yeah.
So we're getting there. Permits are fun. So, all right, guys. We'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Top 5. We would love to hear on how we could improve the show and any suggestions on future topics. You can find us on our website at thetop5podcast.com. Email us at thetop5podcast@gmail.com. We are also on Twitter at thetop5cast, and we are on Facebook as Top 5 Space Frank. Lastly, we are on Patreon under the Top 5 Podcast. Thank you again for joining us.